Hey guys, this is Vishal Dandote, and in this video we will see what is the interface in Angular application and how we can create our own custom interfaces with the TypeScript or the Angular. So let's see the definition, and after that we will see the practical example. So what is the interface? So basically interface is nothing but we can say it is the group of properties, or we can say it is the configuration of group of properties and the methods, and we can implement it with the component later. So basically it is the nothing but the group of method and properties type configuration which we can implement with our component. So let's see the example for the better understanding, and how we can create our interfaces and how we can use that. Let's see with the example. So let's create one file, separate file for the interface. And as I told you, we should use the file name standard as per the Angular suggested. So like as I have called my post API, so I'm going to create my naming convention like post dot interface dot ps. And in this file, whenever we need to create the interface, we have to write, or we need to write the interface keyword, so which is a predefined word or keyword in the TypeScript. And after that we need to write our interface name. So in my case I will say post, and it is nothing but just type specification. So we can write the property and the property value data type. So basically, for example, so my post contain four fields: user ID, and my user ID is nothing but user ID value should be number. After that, I have ID property, which is also having data type number, and another property called title. It is having data type called string, and last one body, which is also string. So in this way we can simply specify our properties with the data type. So it is nothing but we are saying TypeScript or Angular that my user ID must be number. So if we are getting the data from the API and we need to validate, or we need to just specify that particular type, so basically whenever we are creating the interface we need to use that with the real time data or the actual data. So basically that's what we are saying, we can implement it later with the real values. So whenever we need to use this interface into the different file, we can simply export that interface. After that, what we need to do, we have simply exported our interface. We can directly use it in any component or any TypeScript file. So how can we implement that? So whenever we need to use the uh, interface into the component, we can simply import that. So how can we import that? Import and interface name. After that we can simply say dot slash post interface, and after that we need to simply use this interface. So basically as you can see here, what I have written my response is any type. But now I am having my, or I have created my interface. In this case what I will do, I will simply say that my interface is having post of array. So basically it is nothing but post of array. So I have implemented by interface. So basically in this way we can specify the real time data property value type, or we can say real time data properties. It is the nothing but configuration of real time data properties. And after that, uh, let's say uh, we can able to see the same output which we were getting with the any type. So if we go to our browser and try to refresh the page, what it is saying, it is saying as array. Okay, so basically we have removed that as array variable, that's why it is getting error. So basically let's create that variable response array, and it is having any of array. So basically it is any type array, and it has simple empty initialization. So our error has gone, and we can see in the console we are getting same output which we were expecting with the interface. So interface is basically just validating the data type or the data which we are getting from the API or the any other data source. So that is matching to our interface or not. So basically it is nothing but we can also say it is the model where we are saying I must require this type of fields. So that is what interface is. After that, as we seen our definition, we are saying we can implement our interface methods. So how can we implement our interface method? Let's see with the example. Let's create another one interface. So whenever we need to create the interface, we can simply say interface, and after that let's say post details interface. So I can give my any name for the interface, and let's define one method in this interface. So what method we will define, or so simply say get details. So I have given my method name as get details, and after that this method will return any. That's it. So whenever we will use this interface with the component, we need to implement this get details method. Otherwise, we will get error. So how can we get error and how can we resolve that? Let's see with the example. So basically, whenever we need to implement this interface with the component, we can simply go to the component file, and after that, we can simply add my interface or import my interface, and after that we need to use the implements keyword, and we can simply write our interface name. So this is the ng on init, on init interface, and it is having one method as ng on init. That's why we are implementing that interface here. As you can see, we have the same example. So this is our interface, and that interface is having get details method. So whenever we go to our component and add that interface name here, you can see we are getting error. That error is saying this interface is having one method and that needs to be used, or that method needs to be defined. So whenever we need to define that method, we can simply say get details. Sorry. So this is the bracket for this method, and yeah, after that we can simply say, as you can see, VS Code give me suggestion that we need to implement get details method, and you can see we have resolved that error. So in this way we can simply implement our interface method, and we can simply access any type of TypeScript variable. So as you can see here, so let's get the response in the response array, and after that we will console out this response array into the get details method. So for that we have directly written the methods, and it has another this scope. So for resolving that issue, we need to convert these methods in the arrow functions, because arrow functions don't have this scope. So now we can simply access our this level variables. So you can simply say this response array equal to response, and after that we can simply print those method or print that array in this method. So simply say console.log details method for the identification, and comma this dot response array, and we can simply go to the browser and see if we are getting the perfect output or not. So as you can see, we have implemented our method but not yet called. So we need to call this method. So how can we call that method? So this is the lifecycle method, and in this method we can simply call that method. So simply say this dot get details, and let's see the example now, and you can see we have successfully print our array, but didn't get that response. So what we need to do basically, So we need to say, okay, this is, we have not yet pushed data to our response array. So what is the issue? So let's see the issue. So we can simply do one thing. We can call this method to here. So after that, yeah, now we can get our data. So basically, whenever our API has call, so basically this is the asynchronous operation, or we can say this is the observable. So what was happening? This method was getting called before this next method, and that's why we were not able to access our uh, this response array. So in this way we can simply implement the method using the interface with the component or the TypeScript class, and it is useful for type safety purpose. We can avoid the compile time error using the, or we can simply solve the compile time error using the interface. I hope you understand the interface and how we can create our interface, as well as how can we implement its method with the component. If you have any question, you can add that into the comment. I will answer you in the next video. If you like my video, please subscribe the channel. See you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.